What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Good Real Hunting. I am the Brett Man, and today we will be ranking the halfway point of horror movies for the year of 2025. So that is all the horror movies that have came out from January of 2025 to June of 2025. I will be ranking them from the worst to the best. And how will I be determining this ranking? This is all just on personal opinion. My opinion only. So mine is not the right list. Mine's not the wrong list. It is just a list, and it's just to have a little fun to talk about the horror movies for the first half of 2025. And do not worry, this is going to be a spoiler free review of the ranking, of course, of all the movies I am talking about. So I am not going to spoil anything. So if you have not seen a horror movie, so you will be good to go on this. So, on that note, 6 months in, and horror in 2025 has delivered blood, screams, and surprises. So, got a question. So, which horror films rise to the top? Let's find out. All right, before we really get into the top 10 here, I got one honorable mention that I do want to talk about, and that is going to be The Gorge. This is an Apple TV exclusive, so you got to get an Apple TV subscription of some kind in order to watch this movie of The Gorge. And this one, I thought I'll be honest, just wanted a lot more from this movie. So it was kind of sad to not see this movie into the top 10 of my horror movies of 2025. At the beginning of the year, I had really, really high hopes for this movie. So a little disappointed on that, but it was still a good time. Loved the chemistry between Miles Turner and Anya Taylor-Joy. Their chemistry was great. The performances as individuals and together were awesome as well. So it is worth the movie alone. So if you're a fan of Miles Turner and Anya Taylor-Joy, or you're just a fan of one of the two, definitely give this a high suggestion of a watch, because anything with them in this movie I really did love. But again, just was wanting more, like wanting more mystery. And it was very sad too that we got a lack of Sigourney Weaver in this movie. Definitely wanted more of her. Again, don't want to spoil anything of why that is. So just wish we had more of her. So good movie, but just does not make my top 10 list. All right, let's start this top 10 ranking with number 10, and that is going to be a Shudder original, Clown in a Cornfield. And I heard good things leading up to the release of this. I believe it got released back in May. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but my gut reaction is like, beginning of May, and I was hearing some pretty fun reviews about this movie. So my anticipation for this film grew as I was getting ready to get to the theater to watch this movie. And overall, it's a fun slasher film. So it's just, it knows what it is. It doesn't overstay its welcome. So it's a good hour and a half movie. Just again, a fun slasher movie. It had really interesting kills in it, even though I could do with some of the cutaway kills that they did do in this movie, but of course, you know that's going to be due to the production cost to get those kills on screen. So they did the best they could with the budget they had with this film, and I thought they did a really good job. And most of it was for practical effects. And also, this movie had an underrated story. Again, I'm not going to spoil this for you, but just know when I went into or left this movie, I was really, really impressed with the underrated story that this movie tells, and kind of gives us a good thought between like one generation of people and another generation of people kind of clashing. So it was just some good fun on that. The setting of this movie, I really enjoyed the small town and the cornfield setting that this movie provides. I thought they did a great job just putting you in that kind of atmosphere. I would say this actually would be a really good fall movie. So I was kind of confused of why they released this movie of late spring, close to the early summer. So if this movie would have came out in October of 2025, I felt like this movie could have done really, really well, like more well than it actually did. So this movie was still a success, but again, if this could have been released in October, I felt like it could have doubled its success. I did like the main character of this movie, Katie Douglas. I thought her performance was really, really good, and I will be keeping an eye on her and her acting career, hopefully in the horror genre. And of course, the clown. We gotta talk about the clown. The clown looked creepy as hell. So if I see that clown in a cornfield or just somewhere in an empty street, I will definitely be heading the other way. So good job on the costume design, the look of the clown. Great job on that. So this movie again had a really fun time with this one. Just a fun slasher movie, kind of like turn off your brain and just have a good time with this. So this is a good movie to put at my number 10. All right, coming in at my number 9, it's going to be Until Dawn. And no, I am not talking about the game. I am talking about the actual horror movie based off the popular PlayStation game. And I am very, very surprised I got this movie in my top 10. I was very, very critical of this movie because the more I was hearing about the movie and the more that it wasn't going to be fully based on the game, it was going to try to be its own thing, but use the title of the movie of the video game of Until Dawn. I didn't have high hopes for it, so I went with the strategy of just turning my brain off, go in and try to have a good time with it. And overall, it was better than I anticipated. Definitely have fun for what the movie presented itself to be for me. Again, I would have rather it just stick with the video game, which hopefully in the future we do get another Until Dawn movie that is more based on the game. So fingers crossed on that. Kills were good, and yes, I did enjoy Ella Rubin's performance in this movie as well, and that will be another actress I will be keeping my eye on for her entire acting career. Again, hopefully in the horror genre. So another shocker for me on my top 10 list. Number 9 being Until Dawn. All right, coming in at number 8, the recent horror movie release is Megan 2.0. The Killer Doll is back and badder than ever. And my thoughts on this, I didn't know if this movie was going to be better than the original or not. That's really all going to come down to your taste of genres. So, like, if you're a horror movie fan, I would think that you will like the original more. Or if you're an action fan, you're definitely going to enjoy what this sequel does, other than the original. But I still think both movies are a really good time. So there we go. I definitely had a really good time with this movie, and it was a fun movie for a sequel. And you will definitely be entertained in this movie. It's a 2-hour movie, and I never got bored of the movie once. I was really into what they were explaining on the screen from a story standpoint. And of course, we got to talk about Megan. Megan, better and better than ever before. I really enjoyed the, no pun intended here, the upgrade that they did to Megan, making the doll taller, make her more badass, give her more good jokes to tell in this movie. And the good robot action. Yes, they two robots do fight each other, and it's really fun. And they each get a kind of like a scene on their own, displaying how badass they are in fighting. So really good action sequence throughout this movie. And of course, I enjoyed Allison Williams' performance. And my gosh, there was one scene in this movie in particular. I was like, damn, she is looking mighty fine. And that is with a compliment. And that was to help sell that particular scene. So, Allison Williams, it's great to see you again. And I'm glad that you're still acting great into the horror genre. And hopefully, we get more horror genre movies from you soon as well. So, Megan 2.0 had a fun movie to it. It's not one you really need to rush out to the theater per se. I'll let you know on this list when to really rush out to these movies on my top 10 list. So, Megan, you can wait till it's streaming, but just know when you do watch this, or you actually do watch in the theater, if you're that big horror movie fan, you are going to have a fun time with this movie, and this movie is definitely entertaining. All right, coming in at number seven, we are going back to the world of Fear Street, but this time this is Fear Street Prom Queen, exclusively on Netflix. And thoughts on the movie? This movie is so much fun. I am a kind of a big 80s fan, so like I kind of wish like I was born in 1990, but part of me kind of feels like I was kind of born, kind of had like that mindset of an 80s kind of person. So anything 80s you throw at me, especially the horror genre, I will absolutely watch it and have so much fun with it just for the 80s setting alone. And I thought this movie did a really damn good job setting up the 80s setting and the 80s mood and atmosphere. So I heard a lot of complaints about like, oh, it's not really that much of an 80s movie, or they have like that much of an 80s feel to it. So honestly, just for this movie in particular, I am absolutely not sure where the hate is coming from. Just to me, like, yes, in my Fear Street ranking, I do have this movie last, but don't let that fool you. I still give this movie a 4 out of 5. That's just how much fun I have with the Fear Street franchise at this point. This movie is also unique too, like the killer reveal. I thought it was different. It definitely surprised me, and I'm sure some are going to be out there like, "Oh, that didn't surprise me. I knew what the killer was." I'm like, well, let's just have fun. Like, and that's what I did. This one surprised me, and I definitely praised the killer reveal for it being different. And lastly, the final girl, she was good in this movie, but indeed, the one I want to note on that she had a badass moment towards the end of the film with a really good final girl quote. So be on the lookout for that. So if you love the 80s and if you're a horror movie fan, you're definitely going to have fun and enjoy Fear Street Prom Queen. And again, that is exclusively on Netflix, and that comes at my number seven. All right, coming in at number six is going to be Heart Eyes, the newest Valentine's Day horror movie. And I will go ahead and let you know already that this is absolutely anytime Valentine's Day is near or here, or a little bit after Valentine's Day, this movie, Heart Eyes, is going on my watch list to get in that spirit of Valentine's Day. And just, I love holiday themed horror movies in general because I think they're just so different. And I feel like for most horror movies that just want to be fun, just throw a holiday type theme into it, and you're definitely going to be guaranteed for a good time with it. And this movie is no different. I definitely love the concept of this movie. The cast to me is great. Really good comedy moments in this movie as well. I had a most of the time I was laughing my ass off, just as all the comedy was, and the jokes were landing for me. Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding definitely had great chemistry with each other. I'm a fan of Mason Gooding because of him playing Chad Meeks in Screams 5 and 6. And Olivia Holt, I didn't get to know her until this movie, and I enjoyed her performance along with Mason Gooding's performance as well. I really enjoyed what they did. And of course, the kills in this movie, Mr. Hard Eyes himself, which great look, by the way. I love the look of the killer, and his kills were absolutely brutal. So they nailed it right there. So on Valentine's Day, add this movie to your watch list. And if you've not seen this in 2025 yet, I believe this is also on Netflix as well. So go watch it. Have a good time with Hard Eyes. And we're going to kick this off with number five being Companion. And the only reason that this movie is at this spot at my number five, it's all because of Sophie Thatcher. Very great. She was in Yellow Jackets, and she was also in the movie from last year of Heretic as well. And she does a great job in this doesn't miss for her again. She was phenomenal in Companion. She has a lot of badass scenes in this movie, and you could just tell that Sophie really bought into this character, into the story being told, and you could just tell that she was having a great time. And of course, Jack Quaid is in this movie, and he's his normal goofy self. I say he did a really good job in this movie as well, but he's just his normal self. That's the best way I can always describe Jack Quaid. I do worry a little bit that he is kind of like a character. He's like a character cast characters. So like he plays this one particular character, and I'm kind of worried about that in the future. So hopefully that changes soon for Jack Quaid. But Jack Quaid is a good time in this movie. And what really intrigues me in this movie as well is just the story that this movie tells. It makes it for a great question of a what if scenario in the future. Again, I'm not going to spoil that for you. Hopefully, that you didn't watch the trailer for this movie. If you're interested in this movie, I beg you, do not watch the official trailer for this movie because it will spoil it for you immediately. So please, I encourage you to try to go into this movie blind and with an open mind as well, and just have a great time with it. So, especially for the Sophie Thatcher fans, you're definitely going to have a good time with her, and you're going to have a good time with Companion as well. Coming in at my number 4 is going to be Woman in the Yard. And yes, I will go ahead and guarantee you right now, I this one shocks me as well. I was very shocked with how much I really, really enjoyed this movie, especially coming from Blumhouse. Dang gummit. Sorry, Blumhouse. Hopefully you're not listening. Even though a lot of times you do become Bumhouse to me. This, however, this movie, Woman in the Yard, is not one of those Blumhouse movies. It actually is a Blumhouse movie. I thought they did a really good job telling a dark theme in this movie, and it gives really a lot of insight into this theme if you know somebody personally has dealt with the theme that this movie is talking about. Again, I'm not trying to spoil it, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that. Definitely go in not really knowing a lot of things. The acting in this movie is great. The mother in this movie and did the best job out of everybody. Do not have her name on hand, so I do apologize for that. But just know that the mother is the best form of acting in this movie. The mood and the atmosphere is absolutely great. And of course, the look of the woman in black, which is pretty much the woman in the yard, pretty much. But the woman in black, so not to be confusing to Insidious is 1 and 2. This is a different, completely look and a completely different character of the woman in black. I thought the woman in black looked great in this as well. Really creepy, really eerie. You just get a sense of dread every time that the woman in black is on screen. So definitely my most surprising movie of the year 2025 in the horror genre so far. Will we get more in the future? We'll just have to see what the second half of horror movies of 2025 shape out. But so far, my most shocking movie is The Woman in the Yard at my number 4. Coming in at my number 3 is Oz Perkins the Monkey, and this is coming off the highly successful movie of 2024 of Longlegs. And I was definitely intrigued with this movie after the success of Longlegs and with Oz Perkins to see what he does next. And the best word I can describe this movie is pretty much it's like Final Destination times 2. It is absolutely batshit crazy what they do with the kills. This is the most fun movie with kills of all the movies I've seen so far in the year 2025 in the horror genre. The kills were absolutely a great time. They were funny. And that's the other thing, too. This is the funniest horror movie so far of 2025 as well. And I don't see that changing for me personally. The cast was just good in this one. Ronan Campbell makes a surprise entry into this movie. You will recognize him immediately once you do see him. And he's a good time in this movie. Definitely, we gotta give props to the creepy monkey in this movie. The villain of this movie. And I do suggest to you all, do not, and I mean do not call it a toy. You will thank me for it. But yeah, every time the monkey is on screen, it's just the build up, just the dread. Like you just don't know what exactly is going to happen. And what does happen will always shock you and kind of leave your jaw. Sometimes your jaw will be hitting the floor with how crazy something happens after the wrath of the monkey comes out. So definitely enjoy the monkey at my number 3. Coming in at number two is going to be Final Destination Bloodlines. And yeah, anytime that a horror movie, especially within a franchise, has kind of like the tag in its name, Bloodlines, it makes everybody extremely and incredibly nervous. And then when just like the first screenings happened, people like word of mouth came out really quick that, hey, this is not what you think it's going to be with Bloodlines. This is actually going to be a solid horror movie. So I was very excited. And plus, I was just excited for the franchise of Final Destination to come back just to see how much more paranoid or have anxiety that I will have for other situations that I just didn't even think about. That's what Final Destination has not only done for me, but a lot of true horror movie fans as well. And my thoughts on the movie, this movie was absolutely spectacular. I had a amazing time with this movie, and what a way to come back for the Final Destination after their previous two movies, Final Destination 4 and Final Destination 5. Just what a great comeback. The characters were good. The kills, oh my gosh, the kills tip top notch with kills. Definitely puts you immediately back into that world of Final Destination. They did a great job with that. Yes, it does have some of its corny moments, but yeah, the comedy in this movie is incredibly underrated. You kind of get yourself cracking up sometimes as well. But Final Destination is absolutely back. I'm glad it's back. I'm glad it had all the success because it absolutely deserves it. And just do not be surprised. We're going to get an announcement on another Final Destination in the future. So, Final Destination Bloodlines, actually, to me, is my favorite movie within the franchise now. That might be a little like just a little hype on that. Maybe in the future, my Final Destination ranking will change. But right now, Final Destination Bloodlines is number one in the franchise for me, but it is number two at best horror movie so far of the year of 2025. All right, we're going to finish strong here at my number one. I'm about to sin here, so please forgive me. Oh, come on, it's not that kind of sin. So don't look at me. Don't pause the podcast and be like, "What? Wait, what was he sinning about?" Trust me, this is a good sin right here, if there is such a thing. So my number one best horror movie so far in the year 25 is going to be Sinners. My gosh, this movie, I can go ahead and guarantee you right off the bat, definitely one of the best original horror movies that the horror genre has produced in the 2020s so far. And I'm just being honest, I don't even think it's that damn close. The cinematography in this movie is just a whole nother level. It's one of the most beautiful cinematography movies I have seen so far in the 2020s. It was absolutely amazing to watch this movie on the big screen in IMAX. The score was absolutely incredible. Pretty much the scening that happens in this movie was definitely spot on. It was perfect. Speaking of perfect, the cast of this movie was perfection. Everybody that they put into this movie did the absolute most incredible job. And you could just tell that all the cast members were having a blast making this movie. And of course, the two standouts I got to give shout outs to is Michael B. Jordan. Just anything that guy does is just extraordinary. And of course, one of my celebrity crushes, Haley Steinfeld, were all phenomenal. Both of them were absolutely phenomenal, and I love their performances. The set design and the costume design, absolute perfection. And you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about because the set design, the costume design really teleports you into that world of the early 1900s. So this movie is definitely my number one, and I can pretty much guarantee you that this horror movie is going to be my number one at the end of the year as well. I honestly don't see a contest, but you know what? We'll see what the second half brings us. So right now, I'm having all my money that Sinners will be my number one horror movie of the year of 2025. All right, just to recap of my top 10 of best horror movies for the year of 2025, halfway through. Again, that is from January 2025 to June of 2025. Number 10 is Clown in a Cornfield. Number 9 is Until Dawn. Number 8 is Megan 2.0. Number 7 is Fear Street Prom Queen. Number 6 is Heart Eyes. Number 5 is Companion. Number 4 is Woman in the Yard. Number 3 is The Monkey. Number 2 is Final Destination Bloodlines. And number 1 is Sinners. So I want to hear from you all listening. What do you all think about my top 10 list of horror movies of 2025? Halfway point. Do you agree with my list, or do you think my list is wrong and that your list is better? If you are listening on the YouTube side of things, let me know in the comment section down below so we can always get that discussion rolling. Or if you're listening to me by podcast, be sure to leave a 5-star review and a comment on your top 10 list, because again, I would love to absolutely read your all's top 10 movies and even discover one that I haven't even got a chance to watch yet or I've not even heard of. So I do list what to do read all comments, so any kind of comment you leave definitely helps the YouTube channel and also helps the podcast as well. So I do want to thank you for listening in. I've had a great time with this particular ranking. So the shout outs I want to give, of course, is to social media here. We do have a Good Will Hunting Facebook group. It is a public group where we discuss all movies and show, mainly in the horror genre. Sometimes we could go a little off topic of the horror genre, but we definitely love our horror movies in that particular Facebook group. So if you love talking about horror movies, join that public Facebook group. Instagram is where you can get the channel updates, stream updates, and podcast announcements. It's just mainly an Instagram account, just like going behind the scenes of Good Will Hunting and know when the next set of content is coming up for the podcast and for the YouTube channel. We also do have a TikTok account as well, Good Will Hunting, where I will do for real time reactions. That is my out of theater reactions for movies, and also real news, where I will report big time horror movie news as well, and some other like open discussions as well. So if you are on TikTok, follow Good Will Hunting on TikTok. And of course, we have the YouTube channel as well. And if you're listening for the YouTube side of things, we appreciate you. So be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe, because it absolutely helps defeat the evil algorithm so we can make Good Will Hunting as successful as it can be. If you're listening on the podcast side of things, thank you again for listening to us on Apple Pod, Spotify, and Podbean. We appreciate you. And the last thank you that I want to give is to our amazing Patreons and YouTube members. Thank you so much for being the backbone of this podcast and YouTube channel. We couldn't do all of this without you. So thank you so, so much. And if you're interested in being a patron and a YouTube member, those links are going to be in the description of the podcast and this YouTube video as well. What is going to be coming up for the next podcast episode? Right now, it's going to be a Jurassic World Rebirth review. So when I get the chance to see that movie, I will review it and release it. It'll be both a spoiler-free and a spoiler review. So don't worry, I will label it within that podcast episode what is a spoiler free and what is going to be spoiler about Jurassic World Rebirth when you listen in. And to go along with that, I'm also going to be ranking the franchise of Jurassic Park as well. So that is what's going to be coming up on Good Reel Hunting. Until next time, keep hunting for the good reels and have a great day.